And that is how this is my personal opinion, I see a lot of marriages today with our parents, and our senior ones. It's about prestige because they have a mentality that it's a taboo. It's not done. You don't do it.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you're suffering, you suffer that suffering in silence. We've seen some marriages that have been broadcasted on the limelight, and the woman was suffering from abuse, and eventually she died. You know that story a few years back.
Yeah.
So everything takes the grace of God. There is nothing, I don't believe, that is written in black and white. We have our guide, we have our Quran, we have our Bible, we have what is guiding us, what is directing us. However, I was speaking to my sister yesterday, and I was like, we as individuals need to take accountability, like I mentioned last week, as an individual, and say, okay, where is it that I'm going wrong? What am I contributing negatively to this relationship? And it starts from the onset. They always say something about a honeymoon period. I'm not against it, don't get me wrong, when you're going out having fun, enjoying yourselves and things like that. But you need to get that foundation right, because storms will come. The Bible makes us to understand that in this world, we will see storms and trials, but we should rejoice because God has overcome for us. So it's not like it's going to be a bed of roses. All those ones that we're seeing is what they won't show us. They won't show us when they are slamming the door on each other inside house. Please, anybody that has seen that, forward it to me. I'd like to see. They don't show us those ones. It's when they're doing and they're going to movie premiere, and they're holding hands, and they're sending flowers to each other, and they're doing right for That's what we are seeing.
Yes.
When they are really giving each other inside out. But it's about healthy communication. It's about finding yourself as an individual, loving that person the way that person needs to be.
Oh. 4. I hope this person is on. Hello. Hello? I guess that person probably got
no. And we have an advantage. I think we have an advantage of where we are now in society, where civilization has.
Yeah. Sorry.
How we use it is what is important.
Yeah.
Back in the day, our mothers and fathers, so bad chicken,
Hello, let's hold on, please. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, we are live on ETO IGBEYAWO. Do you want to contribute to what we're saying today?
Oh, you're live.
Yes.
We were having I didn't come up.
Oh, okay.
I'll waiting for the event on the 4th of July. But since you're busy, it's fine.
Okay, we'll call you back. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that. I thought someone
conferences you can go to. There's courses you can attend as couples. There's marriage counseling. There's people that you can seek advice from. Yes, they're human beings, and ultimately that you go to God. And that's why your relationship with God has to be important. Yeah. So that He'll be able to speak to you in the language that you understand. You'll find that some marriages and some relationships, very trivial things that are not even, I'm not going to damn it because everybody's feelings are different, but things that could have been dealt with, but because the foundation was wrong. Couples that don't incorporate communication from the onset, when a slight situation occurs, they will shut down, they don't talk to one another because it's supposed to be part and parcel of their relationship. So it is possible. I'm not going to rule it out and say, I like it. It takes two. Going back to what I said initially, it takes two people to agree, to be intentional about the relationship. Yeah. And it takes a lot of forgiveness.
Thank you.
It takes a lot of forgiveness. But God will see us all through in the name of Jesus. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, sis. That was coming from Event Masters, Yemzi Chachanale. Thank you so much for that. Those are very key and important contributions. I'm sorry about the call earlier. I thought it was for this show. And she has mentioned a lot of key points. For those that are just joining us, Davis Creations, thank you so much for joining us. Today we are talking about, in the midst of all these failed marriages, challenges that are going on up and down, that most marriages are no longer working nowadays. In the midst of this pandemic, or so to speak, how can we make our marriages work? Does it have always to be like this? The fact that people are now saying, I want to see you, does that mean we should keep it, just like that and making things just what can we do? What can we do in order to prevent these marriages from failing? What can we do in our own way? A lot of things have been said tonight. And one of the things that was said that was really key, I think I should mention, is the fact that it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. It cannot just be a matter of one person. If one person is working hard, and that's exactly what she said as well, Amos 3:3, can two work together except they agree? If the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? Even if the foundation is faulty, why can't you just start all over again? Let's talk, let's communicate, let's make things work. It takes intentionality. She also mentioned intentionality. Be intentional. Be intentional. Come on. A lot of people want to do things and they want miracle to happen. I don't even think people want the marriage in the first place. What I see is that I don't see that if you really want something in the first place, you will do everything to make that thing work. Ṣé ká ní pé àwọn èèyàn kàn ṣáà ń ṣègbéyàwó for the sake of ká ṣègbéyàwó ni? Àbí kí ló rí lè ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Ẹ̀yin èèyàn, please don't be quiet on me. I need you to please say something on this show. If you're just joining, that's why I had to go through this. What can we do in this day and age where people have turned they've turned marriage to failed marriage? Want to turn it see fashion statements. Failed marriage has almost become fashion statement. You know, nowadays you see people saying, I'm not saying that you should stay in an abusive marriage, but what can we do? What can we do? Auntie Eniola, thank you so much, ma. Auntie Eniola, thank you so much, ma. I appreciate it so much for always. So what can we do? You know, fine, personally, I am a pro marriage. You know, it hurts me so much when I see marriage is not working. Not to say that, well, I have a perfect one. You know, I would do anything to save my marriage. I would do anything. But when I say I would do anything, I'm not ready to lay down my life. You understand? And if the spouse is not cooperating, there's absolutely nothing you can do. So it takes two. Number one, it takes two. Number two, the problem is, do you really want the marriage? Nowadays, also continue about fair, you fight for your share 40, let's make sure will work. But nowadays, you know, and then also she did mention the fact that also back in the days people used to seek advice, you know. But when you seek advice, be careful who you seek advice from. Ẹlòmíì á lọ bá ẹni pé tí ẹ ti bàjẹ́ ní títí ẹ ti jóná kò ní kó ná mọ́ ti wà o. Ẹlòmíì á lọ bá ẹni pé tí ẹ ti bàjẹ́. Ẹlòmíì got any good home, only good family, but kò fẹ́ kó dá fẹ́lòmíì. Be careful who you seek advice from. One thing that I do is when you come to me for advice, no matter how bad the situation is, I'll first of all calm that person down. You know, I'll probably cite examples of people that have managed such situations and how they've come out successfully. However, if I notice that it is going to, you know, take life, or your life is at risk, or I realize that your health or mental health or your safety could be in trouble, I would, you know, in a stylish way, probably tell you to run for your dear life. But pardon me, Olobayan, koto tonkan ni o ba lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹni yẹn pé ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ọkọ mi ṣe báyìí kíní kan. Abolori burúkú ni. Ó ṣe máa gbà yẹn fún. Ó ṣe máa ṣe. I will never talk to you again. That is one thing about me. You won't hear from me again. You understand? So be careful who you seek advice from. Fine, you should seek advice, but not everybody can advise you. Ẹlòmíì tó bá ti sọ fún báyìí, bó ṣe sọ fún tí tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe máa gbé kalẹ̀. Meanwhile, ẹni tó sọ fún ẹ̀yẹn ó ń tolerate nǹkan tó jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Àwa ni kí ni ó wá ń gbà? Ìwọ wá ń gbà dídìrín fún láyé máa ti gbé gbèrè nígbò máa ti ṣe. No, it's not meant to be like that. Thank you. Hey, Kemostic, thank you for joining us, sis. I really appreciate you. Mama Enolaga says people should see marriage as a covenant and not a contract. Thank you, ma. Marriage is a covenant. It's deep. It's deeper than what we think. You know, the fact people well, marriage does not mean that we should just be taking it for granted and just living it. Now, we're talking about other things as well. Ajegbodo we ni kura bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ma bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Sometimes àwọn ẹlòmíì ajegbodo ni wọ́n wẹ ni kura. Kemosik ni good afternoon gbogbo lé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí gbogbo lé ń kí ọ. Then somebody also said something. I'm trying to read comments. Let me see. Okay, I think I just missed that out. Yes. So please, let's bear in mind that marriage is not just a thing of joke. Then one of the things that we spoke about last week, one of the major problems that are causing trouble in marriage is when people pay more attention to this wedding ceremony rather than the marriage. You know, people, they don't even know. Which there is absolutely nothing wrong in it. But please, know what you're going into. Count your look before you limp. Count your cost. Think about it. Am I actually ready? You know, after all the Ashebi, Jaborin and everything, you know, things would happen. And you'll be saying that I didn't bargain for this, I didn't sign up for this. This you want to do wedding, but you don't want to be married. Me or body. That's what is happening nowadays as well. Let these young ones. In fact, I have seen where somebody said, no, nobody can tell me. The person is a non-Nigerian. I don't want to mention where the person is from. And the person is saying, I don't care. Nobody can stop me. I must marry a Nigerian. And I asked the person why. She said, I love their wedding. I'm like, hey, this is the reason you want to marry a Nigerian. Already that marriage has failed before it even started. Because to me, that is not a good reason for you to want to marry a Nigerian. You want to marry a Nigerian just because of the way they do their wedding. You're not talking about you want to marry a Nigerian because of whatever good reasons. So sometimes when people go into it as well for the wrong reasons. People marry nowadays for money, they don't marry for love. People marry for love, they don't marry for respect. They marry for looks as well. That I want to last week. When you marry for looks, you're probably going to quickly go back. Especially even men, our brain, when we are young and everything is on point, There are some things lalatoroke ilẹ̀ ló ń bọ̀ ni every woman body. After a child or two, gbogbo lalatoroke yẹn máa padà wálẹ̀. So it's good to marry for love. It's good to marry a good-looking person in your own eyes. But if that is the only reason you're marrying the person, I saw a man whose wife was involved in a fire accident. God forbid, it's not going to be our portion. The woman was like 90%. But the man is still with her. When they were asking the man, why did she go to any? Only nítorí wípé òun ò fẹ́ physical person. Òun fẹ́ the spirit, the being behind that body. Ni òun fẹ́. So we need to go beyond just the physical. I also saw a couple. There's a program on, I think it's on Instagram and YouTube as well. They say together forever after or something like that. It's something similar to what I do, where they bring couples on board. One of the couples that I saw there, they bring peculiar stories. One of the couples that I met on that story, the woman was on wheelchair since their second child. In the process of trying to give birth, she will lose the spinal cord area. I don't know, in the process of trying to give birth. And this man stayed with her for 30-something years. They are still together till today. That woman was even saying, sometimes she prays to die so that because you're not going to die. They are still together, they love each other. I said, I want to fair, as the bottom line is, the marriage should be beyond the look. It should be beyond the figure 8. It should be beyond the 6-pack. No, ìdí tí ìgbéyàwó fi ń fail ní pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ are marrying for the wrong reason. They are married 6-pack. Ó ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tó mọ̀ pé àní bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ni màá fẹsẹ̀. Kí ló fà orí ni 6-pack. Bọ̀bọ̀ yìí kò tí ì lọ́dún mẹ́ta tí gbogbo irun orí ẹ̀ ti pa. I know this person very, very well. Irun orí ẹ̀ ló kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pa. Àwọn tó wọ́n máa tètè pa yẹn. The 6-pack was lost within few years. The guy now has a pet ball, a one pack pot belly. The girl started misbehaving. Wish I don't fair. What to change? I was like, excuse me. Marrying for the wrong reason is one of the major reasons why marriages fail. And that's why they call it for better, for worse. Even nowadays, when they're saying vow, must be for better, for worse. But things happen. When things happen, will you still be there? Will you still be there? Then another thing that I really want us to talk about before we move on to the Apalakini shape. Somebody had left a voice note, I'm going to play it. Is the issue of infidelity. How do we handle that? Because one of the major reasons that marriages fail as well is because of infidelity. Because of infidelity, when one of the spouses is going outside the marriage to go and do stuff, and also I'm going to do that as a topic here. Infidelity is beyond going out to have an affair, a sexual affair. Infidelity is beyond infidelity can come in so many ways. So God help us. Let me play the I still want us to talk about how to handle infidelity in marriage, because that's one sin that some people will say, but that's the end. How do we do that? How do we handle it? What do we do? Let me play
Hello,
the
good evening,
message.
everybody. I've waited now.
Okay, I
God
think
bless.
it's the wrong one. Sorry, I'm playing the wrong one. We've already listened to that one.
Another thing, Kale Olotu àti gbogbo ilé, ẹ kú ètò, ẹ ṣé, ẹ
Thank you,
kú
ma.
gbogbo ìgbà. And I think people should not just look at the good aspect of the man or woman they want to get married to. Oh, he's patient. Oh, he's very neat. Oh, he's very kind. Oh, he's generous. What about the bad aspect of that person? Because there's no perfection in any man except in God. That if I get married to this woman or this man, can I still cope with all the negative side of him? Will you be able to tolerate? The marriage is not what you see, like conclusion, but it's a day-to-day learning. Not even day, minutes, seconds. So call on wà lọ́wọ́. And àwọn Gen Z wa ta ní sìn, ká máa jẹ́ kán mọ̀ wípé when Christ is not the foundation, there will be crisis. I'm not talking about abusive marriage now, no. But when Christ is in a marriage, when Christ is the foundation, I always say to my clients, I say there are 3 eyes. You've already invited Jesus.
I think she was still in the middle of saying something, and the line cut off. Well, the most important thing that I picked from her, which is very, 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 very crucial, is when you focus only on the beauty, you focus only on the positive things, or the positive things about that person. She's gorgeous, she's this, she's cute, she's this, she's kind, she's that. There's nobody on the surface of the earth that will have a good part that will not have some bad parts. So when the bad parts start to manifest, can you handle it? Have you even taken your time to study this person and know what are the other parts of this person that you need to know about? And that's why also a lot of people say, you know that I love to use myself as an example. I remember that when I got married to my husband, and when he's snoring, I'm like, hey, shush. I hated that thing. Eh. Then one day he said, "Shoma, who not snore? Amy." If you see the way I was arguing, Amy, you snore as well. I'm like, lie. I don't snore. No, he said you didn't used to, but recently you started snoring. I said, what kind of and he said, do you give me permission to record you when you ask me? And he was playing my song. I said, okay, my Johnny. I was actually singing in my song. You know, sometimes you don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what you're capable of. You know, I've said this before on this show. When I nearly got married, one of the arguments that me and my husband was also having was the fact that I was like, yeah, what else would I talk? I didn't believe I was sounding any funny. I believe that I sounds great. You understand? Yorùbá máa ń pòwe kan. Wọ́n ní pé ìpàkọ́ nípàkọ́ là ń rí. Ẹni ẹlẹ́ni lórí tẹni kó tó ṣe bí òwe àwọn àgbà tó wà lórí ètò yìí. You know, sometimes you keep pointing at your spouse. You have no idea that you're probably doing worse than that person was doing. And I was arguing with my husband. I said, there's nothing wrong with my voice. You know that one day, and when they started doing these voice notes where you can leave your own voice as your voice notes or whatever. So I left the voice notes for myself, trying to say, hello, this is Meettheroyals. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you. To me, I was sounding so posh and cool. So I now play. You have to play it yourself to hear it before you now save it, so that when I hear it, you know the way it was sounding. Hello, Meettheroyals. I was like, eh? Is that how I sounded? I was so shocked. I was like, really? I did it more than 10 times. I was still hearing that harsh tone. That was the first time I believed that my husband was actually right when he says, and I started praying. I started working on it. I started praying. No wonder. So I used to wonder, why? Later, I started working on that voice. I prayed about it. So sometimes you don't even know you're doing whatever is wrong. Mommy Olusoya said one should watch and pray during courtship before entering marriage. Thank you, Mommy. You should watch and pray. That's coming from Mommy Olusoya, all the way from Birmingham. Thank you, ma. She said watch and pray as well. There's a reason why the Bible says watch before pray. You are praying, yes, but as you are praying, open your eyes as well. People say that love is blind, but marriage is an eye opener. I pray that God will help us. One thing again, that let us work on ourselves and do whatever we want to do to improve the marriage rather than focusing too much on our spouse.